Good morning and welcome to Mornings on Main Street for this Tuesday, the 23rd of May. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. We hope everyone is getting off to a great start this morning. Here is what we have in store for you today. We have the first of a three-part series that we're running today, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's from our sit down with author and journalist Tim Ghianni. Tim has rubbed shoulders with and become friends with great names out of Nashville, Tennessee. But this morning, we learn how Mr. Ghianni made his way to downtown Nashville, to Music City, USA. We'll get to hear some of his story before we learn about what's in his book that he recently put out, and that is Pilgrims, Pickers, and Honky Tonk Heroes. After that, our Tennessee traveler, Tom Adkinson, takes us to a small restaurant in Bon Aqua, Tennessee. He takes us to the Beacon Light Tea Room, where he introduces us to their homegrown country cooking, and it sounds amazing. And then we round out today by revisiting a story that we brought to you a few months ago. It's with Second Chance Canine Rescue out of Clarksville, Tennessee. That is where we met Travis Hall, him and his wife. They're the founders of this canine rescue. And now Travis himself, he is a Special Forces veteran that now rescues and then trains high drive dogs and pairs them with Special Forces veterans suffering from PTSD. It is a story that I want to make sure get to hear, so we are sharing it with you once again this morning. And then we take a look back at the end of the show at the native plant sale that happened over the weekend at the Cedars of Lebanon State Park. So we'll have that for you. But first, let's get a check of our headlines. This 42-page complaint of sexual assault was filed May 16th in the U.S. District Court by mother and father Doe on behalf of their son, who was a sophomore at Hendersonville High School in the fall of 2022. Now, it won't be the first time that the school district will defend itself in federal court amid allegations of bullying and racial harassment there at HHS. Read more by going to hendersonvillestandard.com. Metro Animal Care and Control currently has more than twice as many animals as can ideally be housed there at the shelter, with many others in foster care right now. So the help is needed to help these loving pets. Adoption fees are being waived for all pets for the remainder of May for the month in an effort to help more pets find their adoptive forever homes. Now, those interested in adopting or maybe becoming a foster volunteer, head over to mainstreetmediatn.com for all the information that you need. And then the woman you see here in the summer hat, you see her right there. That is longtime Wilson County community leader, Mary Harris. We would like to say congratulations to her for being recognized and receiving the Legends of Lebanon Award, which was created in 2013 to honor people and businesses who have made a tremendous impact on the city. And she has done that. Mary Harris has done just that. Read all about her impact, what she's done for the community by heading over to chroniclesofmountjuliet.com. Well, it's time to get a look at our forecast to see how long the sunshine will be sticking with us. We're turning to our friends over at Tennessee Valley Weather.
Hey folks, happy Tuesday. Ben Luna here with you from Tennessee Valley Weather. Tracking again a chance for a few little pop-up showers as we head through your Tuesday. Here's a peek at Futurecast, and notice again primarily south of I-40 will be where we pick up those hit and miss storms. Also a few back out toward the Mississippi River into West Tennessee if you have travel plans. And then as we head into, say, the mid-evening, still maybe one or two showers will be lingering over a smidgen of the area. And then we'll kind of rinse and repeat here for tomorrow, maybe a scattered shower for a brief time in parts of the region on Tuesday. Otherwise, rain chances on the lower side. Keep in mind that that number is small. The vast majority of the area should be staying dry here over the course of the next couple of days. We do tend to look at a more widespread or a better possibility for rainfall in more parts of the area towards your Friday. That's going to spill over into early Saturday, but otherwise, fairly typical spring weather, give or take, around here. Afternoon highs staying close to 80, morning lows, ballpark of 60 degrees. That's a check on your forecast. Here's a final look at the 7-day. Hope you have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you soon.
Vote for us Best Burgers and Breakfast in the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. We look forward to serving you. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back. We have a rather special interview today. We are talking with journalist, storyteller, teacher. He is just a phenomenal individual with a book that just recently came out, Pilgrims, Pickers, and Honky Tonk Heroes. We are talking with Tim Ghianni today, and it is such an honor to talk with you. Tim, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, Stephanie, thank you. It's my pleasure.
You know, let's talk. This is incredible because you have had a kind of a long time love with Nashville and country music artists. But before we jump into that, I want to hear more about you and your background in journalism and how that got started, where that love came from.
Well, actually, my love of journalism began when I was very small. My mother had been a newspaper woman in Chicago during World War II. And so she instilled the love of the word in me when I was very young. And in fact, I can't think of a time where I either didn't want to be an author or a newspaper man. And my whole life, I planned on since being a newspaper man was the way to newspaper person now, but newspaper man was the way that you could really make your living as a writer. That's what I focused on. So that began when I was very young, and I worked in of course, the school newspapers when I was growing up in the Chicago area. So I went to Iowa State University to study journalism. I traveled around the country for a while after I graduated in '73, just doing odd jobs and just traveling, seeing things before I got tied into work. After I got done traveling, I wanted to live someplace near, at least if not in Nashville, then near Nashville. My parents were here, and I liked the city so much. I worked, my first job as a newspaper writer was as a sports writer in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I worked there. I was a sports writer, sports editor, assistant city editor. I kept on getting promoted where for the last 8 or so years I was there 14 years. I was the associate editor in charge of the daily product of the news production of the newspaper, staying till it came off the press at 2 in the morning or so. But also I wrote a column, it was just a slice of life column. Everybody has a story to tell. So we're all the same. Mostly we're the same. We're more the same than different. And we have all the same hopes, fears, goals, ambitions. And I wanted to show that by just talking to regular people. My whole career was devoted to doing that. I did a similar column when I left Clarksville in '88. I went to the Nashville Banner. And I was at the Nashville Banner. Of course, it's long gone now, but I was there its last 10 years. There I was in a variety of roles. Mostly I was a state editor in charge of government coverage and coverage of breaking news outside of Nashville. And then I was entertainment editor there. And then when the Banner folded in '98, the Tennessean purchased, or Gannett, the corporation purchased the Banner, and they folded the Banner. And I did get hired there at the Banner, or at the Tennessean rather, as a night copy editor, as a job. And I ended up, it wasn't very long before I was promoted to entertainment editor at the Tennessean. For most of my career at the Tennessean, I was the entertainment editor. So that's a quick version of it. I was tried not to ramble too long.
No, I love hearing it. And I have to say, we may have a small connection here. I live in Clarksville, Tennessee. And so this particular studio, that is where we are located, Clarksville. And I'm assuming you worked for the Leaf Chronicle?
Yes, I worked for the Leaf Chronicle. It was the oldest paper in Tennessee. It was a very proud, very, very good paper. It was a very large newspaper, a lot of sections, as big as any Sunday newspaper that you'd find in the country in terms of the different sections. And we won a lot of awards, not just because of me, but we won a lot of awards as basically the best newspaper in the southeastern U.S. for some years, which is going up against all the big cities as well. So we were very good. I was very proud of my time there. Love Clarksville. I don't get up there very often, but it's a nice city. You chose a good place to live. I always liked it there. It wasn't that I wore out of Clarksville, just that I needed to move on and move up in my career.
Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
In the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon voting. Micah Blount State Farm Insurance. Thank you for your vote.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon County is happening now. Please vote for Redbird Realty. We appreciate your support.
Welcome back. If you would like to try a true lard biscuit, there is one place to go. It is in Bon Aqua, Tennessee. It is the Beacon Light Tea Room, and it is not a frou-frou place, but it is a place with good home-style country cooking. And to tell us all about it, we have our Tennessee traveler, Tom Adkinson, here with us. Tom, welcome once again, and talk about a great spot.
Good morning again. Yes, I can find places to eat.
That's one thing I love about you. And not only is it a great place to eat, but a place with a lot of history. In fact, it opened in 1936, according to your article.
Correct. There was a man named H.O. Ramsey. He built a restaurant. Beacon Light is a quite precise name. There was an airplane navigation beacon there. So it was the Beacon Light that was directly across Highway 100 from the restaurant. And in the 30s, U.S. mail planes had a string of beacon lights from Nashville to Memphis, and I'm sure elsewhere, of course. But that was one of the ones that guided the mail planes from Middle Tennessee to West Tennessee. And that's how he named his restaurant.
I love that piece of history. Now, what can we expect when we go in to eat?
I'm not sure whether the term is correct, but what I call oilcloth tablecloths, the kind of the slick things that were in your grandmother's kitchen.
Yes.
Those are on the tables. It seats about 90. It's compact. You're close to your neighbors. And the current owners, Kim and Daryl Wynn, just make it feel delightful. Kim says she'll more than happily be in the kitchen, but she likes being out on the floor better. So if Kim's making the rounds, striking up a good conversation with her about what's on the menu and what's going on in the community, that's always fun.
Well, now tell us about the biscuits. So what's so big about the biscuits? The lard. Obviously she uses lard. So that is like true biscuit style.
Absolutely. First time I went in, I was by myself, and a basket of these small, old style lard biscuits was placed in front of me. I hadn't ordered anything yet. I swear it could have made a meal off of it. And it wasn't two or three. It was a basket full. And I asked, I said, is this normal? And I said, well, sure it is. That's what we do. But so indeed, you've got this very casual setting, close in with your neighbors, and absolutely just good basic country cooking. Fried chicken out of an iron skillet is about as good as you can get anywhere. And that's just a big part of the Beacon Light. Country hams there. Breakfast. I've had breakfast every time I've been in, no matter what time of day. It's just the way it is. They do have things like a half-pound hamburger, but I save my burgers for other places when I'm in a country cooking kitchen place.
Well, I hate to cut this interview short, Tom, but I got to go because I really need to get there to eat something. That sounds amazing. The biscuits, the ham. Now, when you're there, do they share a lot of the history with visitors, with patrons that come in? Is there information there or pamphlets or anything?
There's a lot on the printed on the menu. The staff is hustling. They don't really have much time to talk. I've caught Kim on a couple of good times. I forgot one thing.
Please tell me.
When they bring the biscuits, they have 2 or 3 containers of preserves. It's really almost more like syrups. And honest to goodness, you can make a dessert off of the extra biscuits that you haven't eaten and the preserves that they bring to you automatically. So they just do it right.
It sounds like it. And I love what you have in the article about what they have in the foyer. You're blessed when you come in and blessed when you go out. But you have something else written under that what I got to chuckle out of.
Yep. I think the phrase really ought to be, you're hungry when you come in and full when you go out.
Well, another spot we need to visit if you want some down-home good Southern cooking, the Beacon Light Tea Room. Tom, thank you so much for always sharing all of the great places to visit in Tennessee.
I'm happy to. Keep traveling.
Yes, sir. We'll do it. We have more coming up on Mornings on Main Street right after this, but I don't know about you. I'm in the mood for a biscuit and some jams and preservatives right now. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Vote for us in Best Burger, Best Dessert, Best Overall Restaurant, Best to Go, Best Dining Deal.
Welcome back. This next story, I am so happy to share this with you once again. I would love just more eyes to be on many of our nonprofits that we have in our area. So this one today that we're talking about is Second Chance Canine Rescue Organization. You met the founder not that long ago, Mr. Travis Hall. He is one extraordinary individual. But what him and his wife are working on now is rescuing high drive dogs. Then they train them, and then those dogs who are high driven and having a job to do, well, they're paired with special operations veterans who may be suffering from PTSD or maybe TBI, those men and women who are looking for that purpose. Well, and they're finding it in those dogs. It's really an organization that rescues both dogs and veterans. Travis Hall shares more about the work that he has been doing and what he continues to do today.
Bear and I did 4 combat deployments to Iraq together. You know, he was my right hand. He was my best friend. I get super emotional. I'm sorry. But yeah, like that dog was my everything. And he retired to me after his service, and he retired at 7. He lived to 14, and he was the best. You know, and we were a little worried in the beginning because he was a beast, dude. He'd hurt people, you know, and so I was a little like, oh, what are we getting ourselves into? But man, when he transitioned from his military service to our home, he was just brilliant, you know, like he adapted to it. He became a part of it. He knew what his job was, to take care of the family and to be a part of our lives, you know, and when he died, it was really dark times for me. I was over in Afghanistan when he died, but when he died, it was super dark times for me, and I lost that connection. And he had an accidental litter, so we kept one of his puppies out of fear that she just wouldn't be a great dog for anyone else, and she turned into my service dog. So his daughter was my first. Well, Bear was technically my first service dog, but his daughter became my service dog, and she's retired now as well, and she still lives with us. And so, just to have this legacy in life, and Bear is just, he was such an amazing soul, and for him to be able to do the things that he did, everybody, he turned off the bite, when he retired, he didn't, I never worked with him on biting or anything, but he turned it off, and he just became my companion in everything, my best friend, my partner. He would go everywhere with me. And even, when I was doing guard stuff or, teaching, he was just there. And I miss him every day. I think about him every single day. He's my best friend.
As a way to honor Bear's legacy and give to the veteran community he's a part of, Travis and his wife and partner Melissa developed Second Chance Canine.
We were rescuing dogs for years before we started this nonprofit, and me and Melissa, my wife, sat down and we were like, man, we've spent a lot of money on dogs. We need to figure something out, whether we start a nonprofit or we stop doing this, but we have to. We basically spend our son's college money on dogs, and so we started the nonprofit, and we've been going strong for about 3 years.
The number one goal is to develop a service dog. Secondary is adoptions. Lastly, Second Chance Canine strives to help veterans receive a dog that will be a good match for both veteran and canine.
Special operations takes care of special operations. We're a special operations nonprofit. Our whole goal in life is to increase and improve the lives of our special operations veterans. We actually get a little bit of stink, from people because we only work with special operations right now. But you have to imagine there's only 2 of us doing this, there's 2 of us taking care of all 10 of these dogs right now, right? And so we're a small organization right now. We would love to open up to EMS, police departments and stuff like that. We need space, we need money, we need people, and we're building those things now with our fostering program, and we're trying to put the infrastructure together to build those things. It just takes time.
What also takes time is training very smart, loyal, and athletic breeds. Travis puts it into perspective.
So you're talking about 10,000 hours for 6 dogs in the movie John Wick. That's freaking 60,000 hours of training in dogs in order to make that film. Not so familiar with the movie Dog, but I would imagine, if I had to guess, it was probably 2 to 4 dogs to film that movie. And I would imagine probably similar, close to 5 to 10,000 hours per dog in that movie. So you're talking about, if you look at Kuma at 2 years old, I probably have 1,000 hours of training in Kuma. Just straight up, not just being with me or whatever, but just hanging out, doing training. I probably have 1,000 hours of training in Kuma. A service dog, we have to put 200 hours of training. Well, the American Disabilities Act requires 180 hours, but we put 200 hours of training into every single service dog that we train. Now, that's nothing compared to these dogs that we're training to do a specific task. Now, if you don't train these dogs and you don't force them to use their minds and force them to complete a task, these dogs will lose it. They'll go crazy. They they thrive on a job. They thrive on a task, and that's, I think, where people are kind of like, oh, I'm going to get this dog and then I'm just going to throw it in my backyard and it's going to go crazy. It's going to chew up stuff. It's going to be nuts, and it's going to dig holes, and you just have to find ways to entertain their minds, The way we work it is a veteran applies via the website, and then we contact that veteran and we talk to them, and we do, if they're local, we ask them to come to us. If they're not local, we set up a Zoom. I'm the military guy, so I do all the vetting for the military side, making sure they were in a USASOC unit and, things like that. Melissa, on the other hand, is our mental health person, and since she's a licensed clinical social worker, she does the mental health interview. Hey, what are your diagnoses? What are your problems? How can we help you? We're looking for a very specific veteran.
This nonprofit, Second Chance Canine, hopes to help more dogs and veterans and hopefully others in the future.
So, yeah, our dream is 100 acres, right? Like, so we want 100 acres and we want to have this like retreat feel, right? Like everything everybody does right now, it's kind of like you come here, but you stay in a hotel because, you know, we just don't like, I mean, you're looking at the facility. We don't have, you know, everything we need right now. But what we want to do is we want to buy 100 acres and we want to build 6 kennels. And the reason 6 to 8, and the reason we want to build 6 or 8 instead of one big one is because every working kennel I've ever been in, if dog number 1 is sick, dog number 200 is sick. If dog number 1 is barking, dog number 200 is barking. So for us, we're kind of like wanting to go a little more micro instead of macro, because then not only does it help us keep the dogs healthier and happier, but we can, so our design when we build the kennel is going to have an apartment upstairs. And that way we can house up to 6 to 8 veterans at a time. Like I have a ton of friends that like, for whatever reason, they're going through divorces or, you know, they're just down on their luck or whatever. And we could bring those dudes here and we can incorporate them into our daily rhythm in that like, oh, cool, you're in charge of this kennel, right? Like you're 100% in charge. You will feed, house, bathe, take care of, and I will be there to help you and to spot check you. And if you're not doing a good job, unfortunately, we're going to move you out and we're going to move someone in who will, you know? And so it makes them really work to be a part of our program. And I mean, that's a lofty dream. 100 acres is, you know, millions of dollars here, you know? So that's a lofty dream for us. But, you know, if you don't dream big, you're never going to be big, you know?
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
Vote for Area 51 Tech Solutions for Best Computer and Electronic Repair in Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back. It is time to take a look back this morning at the native plant sale. Get a look. This happened at Cedars of Lebanon at Assembly Hall there this past Saturday. It was a few hours for people to come out and learn about native plants that they can grow at their own home or on their property. They were able to make those connections and gather that information. So we are sure happy to say it was a great turnout for them. As always, thanks so much for joining us here on Mornings on Main Street. Be sure to connect with us any time of day by downloading our mobile app, Main Street Media TV Mobile. You'll get access to all of the shows and podcasts that we offer, and we have quite a few. You can also head to mainstreetmediatn.com to get a look at all of our papers that we have out there, and we cover 13 communities. So we have so much for you on our website and on that mobile app. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you back here on Hum Day.